Building relationships, okay? Again, we talked to partnerships. We want to talk about relationships and how key that is to this overall strategy. Talked about building leverage and the fact that if one of our customers has the majority of our business, we'll pretty much do what we need to do to satisfy them. Likewise, now that we've consolidated, we have that leverage within our supplier base. But do we want to go in there with a hammer and start pounding them all and making them do what we want? No, because you're not going to be successful. Ultimately, there's a breaking point. What you want to do is actually build the trust and build that strategic partnership with those individuals, okay? It's going to include touring each other's facilities, making sure they have an opportunity not only to visit your site, but you go and visit their sites. Look at their operations, you know, and see what they can do. Offer them suggestions for improvement and accept their suggestions for your improvement. Meet key people within the organization. Again, this is not just about one purchasing agent or one sourcing manager and one sales rep. This is about two businesses working together to ultimately provide satisfaction to the end customer. Okay? You want to meet those people that are actually working on a daily basis to identify what specific materials need purchased, work with meet the shipping folks, the receiving folks, meet everybody in the organization, including engineering, quality, anybody that's going to have some level of interface. You want them to interface. Let them get to know each other. You still want to maintain a focal point. You know, you don't want your engineers going and telling the supplier that they need to make a change, and all of a sudden there's a big price attached to that, and then our sourcing manager, you don't want to see our sourcing manager when he gets into that situation. So you want to maintain that focal point, but you really want to have that relationship so, again, you can work together and have a successful partnership. What we've used is annual supplier conferences that include all key individuals from each of our suppliers and within our plant location. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. The other thing, when you talk about relationships, you share responsibility and accountability. Okay, again, this has got to be a win-win situation. In our cases, we've had many win-win situations where our suppliers and we have worked together to resolve problems. In some environments, if you have a major customer issue, customer recall, they've identified a problem. You know, depending on the level of the problem, there may be a significant amount of reaction, maybe some finger pointing. In our environment, we are very fortunate that if we run into one of those situations, we ignore all of that nonsense. The first thing is to take care of business and take care of that customer. We recently had an example where there was a product design change, and that product design change wasn't correct. We had to make a change to that for it to be successful. Okay, we had a bunch of them out in the field, a bunch of them out on the floor that we had to rework. Well, again, there was no finger pointing. The first thing was calling the supplier saying, hey, this is our issue, this is what we need to do. That supplier responding and saying, okay, this is what we're going to do from here, and this is how we'll get you product directly, immediately, so you can go on with production. And if you guys can take care of this in your shop and then ship the rest of it back here, we can take care of it. But it was all about what needs done for the customer. Once that's all said and done, then we talk about, okay, where do we look at the cost? You know, how do we manage the cost of that? But it's secondary. And why is it secondary? Because there's trust involved. We've gone through the relationship building. We've gone through those events that test you and test your integrity. But once you go through that, you build a relationship, it's cake from there.